Hello everyone, myself Kavya from Kristu Jayanti College, Bengaluru, presenting you regulation of gene expression in eukaryotic cells. Introduction. Gene expression in eukaryotic cell is regulated by repressor as well as by transcriptional activators. The regulation of gene expression in eukaryotic cell is more complex than in prokaryotic cell because gene expression in eukaryotic cell is regulated by operon and by switching on and off of an operon, but in eukaryotic cell the gene is expressed by activators. So the gene expression is regulated by three different methods: the processing of mRNA in the nucleus, by controlling the levels of ribosome in the cytoplasm, by post-translational modification of the polypeptide product. The transcriptional control appears to be major regulatory process in order to conserve energy and metabolites. Nearly all regulatory mechanisms function at or near the beginning of the process rather at the end. So there are two classes of regulatory phenomena involved, that is reversible and irreversible regulation. Reversible regulation, it represents a cell response to fluctuation in the environment, especially those involving modulation of enzyme activities in response to change in enzyme or hormonal level. It is also known as short term. Next is irreversible regulation. It is associated with determination, differentiation or development at the levels of entire organism. Example is regulation in yeast and regulation in neurospora. It is also known as long term. Next is Britton and Davidson model. This model explains the regulation in eukaryotic cell but does not contemplate the existence of an operon consisting of adjacent cell. Rather, it accounts for a regulation of related gene in different chromosome on an individual basis. Eukaryotic cell have highly differentiated cell. A large part of genome is permanently irreversibly repressed in it. Example, like kidney cell cannot be transformed into any other cell like liver cell or muscle cell because every cell has its own structural and functional gene characteristic present in it. And so this is the model of an Britton and Davidson model, which has a large amount of sensor site, right, which recognizes a signaling agent. Adjacent to a sensor site there is an integrated gene. So this sensor site regulates the integrator gene, which is responsible for the synthesis of activator RNA. This activator RNA binds to the receptor locus, which is either located on the same or different chromosome, which results in the formation of transcription mRNA and then gets translated. So this is the model of an Britton and Davidson. This theory mainly explains how several different integrator could be synthesized at the same time. So now let's see in brief how a particular gene of interest gets transcribed and translated for the expression of the gene in eukaryotic cell. Pre-transcriptional control. So the eukaryotic chromatin able to block the ability of the gene for transcription by forming chromatin structure that hide the DNA from transcription factor and enzyme. So the eukaryotic DNA is actually wrapped around an histone. So this is the chromosome which has a gene in it, and the gene has the DNA. So this DNA is packed inside a nucleosome, and it involves a protein called histone. And actually, to make the DNA structure compact and putting it inside the cell is really a very tough task. For doing it, the nucleosome is present, and this occurs during the cell division. And if we require a particular gene which is wrapped around a histone, we need to open the DNA using some enzyme or chemical modification. Like if we require this particular gene, we require to some enzyme and chemical modification to do it. So there are two types of chromatin to do that. That is heterochromatin and euchromatin. Heterochromatin, it is highly packed, that is very densely packed, which is all nearby, and it has a very low and complete devoid of transcriptional activity. The tight coiling is due to the presence of high methylation of the DNA. This DNA methylation means inactivating genes over extended time. Methylation can coil and uncoil, both occurs depending on the situation where actually the methylation takes place. The gene gets turned off, the gene expression gets turned off, and this is heterochromatin, sorry. This is next is euchromatin. It is less compact. It's seen in areas where DNA is very more available for transcription, and DNA is tightly wrapped around a nucleosome formed by an histone and undergo acetylation. Acetylation of causes a relaxation of DNA, making it more available for transcription. So the DNA is very loosely packed in it, and this acetylation is it can uncoil the DNA from histone, and deacetylation also occurs, which recoils the histone around the DNA. So next is we have to know the transcriptional control of this occurs. So that next is transcriptional control. Well, the transcription factor allows RNA polymerase to attach and transcribe to turn on the gene and RNA to make a protein. So there is a regulatory protein present in it, and enhancer region present, which is a small stretch of DNA that has the ability to enhance the transcriptional activity, and this enhancer is found upstream or downstream to the promoter. So this is the gene, which has an axon, intron regions and promoter. Next to the promoter there is an proximal control element. Next there is an enhancer region, which is also known as distal control region. Then this orange color is the activator. This activator comes and binds to the enhancer region. When it comes and binds, there is a fold or a bend of the gene occurring, which brings the activator closer to the promoter. So you can see the bend here, which occurs, which brings the activator to near the promoter. So this is the activator, this is the promoter region. When this gets bent, this comes opposite side. Now the gene transcription factor, this is the gene transcription factor, comes together between the fold, and RNA polymerases transcribe in this direction, and the turn on of the RNA for the gene expression occurs. This is one way of turning on the specific gene in cell where the processing of mRNA in the nucleus takes place. Next method is post-transcriptional control. So now the transcription has occurred. So now we have to know to regulate the protein product from it. So how do we do it? Is by post-transcriptional control. So the initial transcript of RNA is not functional, that is rRNA, tRNA, mRNA undergo various degree of post-transcriptional modification. That is like cutting out of functional piece of RNA from much larger non-functional transcript. Some pieces may be functional, and it needs to be joined together for forming a single functional piece, and requires a chemical modification at both the ends of the molecule. So your main thing is here, where we have, this is an gene, this part is introns. Here the first idea here is we have to cut out the introns and join all the exons, because exons codes for a protein for production of which regulates the protein product, whereas introns does not code for a protein. It is called a junk DNA of the eukaryotic. So this introns are cut off, which does not code for a protein. So now we have a DNA that codes for the gene, and then mRNA. So this codes for a protein, so it codes for a gene and mRNA also. Even a non-coding RNA will play an important role in controlling a gene expression. So this is a microRNA, which is a small piece of RNA, and there is a presence of a messenger RNA. When microRNA and messenger RNA binds, when this and this binds like from like A it binds to T and U binds to C in such a way like base pair happens. Then a ribosome comes and attaches to it and blocks the uh, program to happen. Like in it, the ribosome blocks it in this direction. So then the RN the only then the RNA gets translated. So this is the second method of controlling the level of ribosome in the cytoplasm. Next is the translational control. So ferritin is an intercellular protein that stores excess iron in the cell. If the cell has too much of iron, it can be toxic to us. So it is important to be able to store it or keep the levels balanced. So in a gene, if the coding region has high amount of high amount of iron, then ferritin is formed to store the excess iron. Thus the mRNA gets translated. If the coding region has low iron, then it is harmful to us. So iron regulatory protein are attached to it and then no translation occurs. So this next is post translation. So as long as the protein exists in cytoplasm, it can have more impact. So even if the protein is first made, it is not necessary to be functional. Like there are many digestive enzymes of small intestine that are synthesized as zymogen, which is also known as, which is in inactive form, that undergoes a enzymatic cleavage to become active. Example is tyrosinogen, trypsinogen to trypsin. There trypsinogen is an zymogen. It is in an inactive form, gets transformed to a enzymatic form which is active. And next is pepsinogen and pepsin. This is the third method of gene regulation in eukaryotic cell, that is by post translation modification of the polypeptide products. So next is the genetic disorder caused. So as early in 1902, Garrod suggested that a gene is specified by a gene product. So, and he found that alkaptonuria and phenylketonuria causing in people. So what is alkaptonuria? It is seen in humans to inborn error or of the metabolism, and this disease is mainly caused in the single enzyme. People who are affected with this disease, their urine turns black on exposure to air, because in normal individual tyrosine and phenylalanine are present, which are catabolized to homogenetic acid, then oxidized to fumaric acid and acetoacetic acid. But people who lack people who are affected with alkaptonuria, they lack this enzyme, homogenetic acid oxidase. Okay, so the on exposure to air, the urine turns black in color. So and this patient also causes darkening of skin and also develop arthritis. Next is phenylketonuria. It is produced by a defect in alpha phenylalanine hydroxylase, which normally converts phenylalanine to tyrosine. So the phenylalanine is converted to phenyl pyruvate, which can be detected in the urine. Even this is a urine disorder. Accumulation of phenyl compound produces irreversible and acute mental retardation in the patient, and even the neurological disorders is seen. Normally, people who are affected are homozygous for recessive gene, which codes for a particular defective enzyme. So these are my references. Thank you.